What's going on, guys? Tyler here, and today I have 5 drinks that cause anxiety. These are things you might want to cut out of your diet or just consider eliminating from your diet altogether if they might be causing you some anxiety. Now, just a week ago, we did 5 foods that cause anxiety, so if you haven't seen that, you might want to check that one out. Otherwise, because there's always going to be someone in the comments, I do want to point out this is different than the 5 foods that cause anxiety. If you're wondering how it's different, well, you don't chew your drinks. And if you chew your apple juice, I don't really want you here anyway. So, without further ado, let's dive right into this. But actually, I want you all to leave a comment below. I want you to guess what these 5, let's play a game. I want you to guess what these 5 drinks are going to be that cause anxiety. If you get them all right, fantastic. You get a thumbs up from me. But if you're wrong, you have to subscribe to this channel because you got a lot to learn about anxiety and I want to help you. So give that a shot. Once those comments are done, let's move into the video. Now, the first drink that causes anxiety is going to be a little bit of an obvious one, kind of a throwaway here, but there's a twist to it. So the first one is caffeine, as a lot of you guys probably guessed on your lists down below, but it's not just drinking the caffeine itself that's going to give you anxiety. I know personally, and I had been addicted to caffeine years back. I was working for, for years I was working for an airline, and my schedule was crazy all the time. Sometimes I'd be working nights, and then the next day I'd be working the morning. It was all over the place. So I definitely needed caffeine to get through it. What I found over time was that I became addicted to the caffeine, and when I wouldn't have it is actually when I would feel anxious. The caffeine itself never made me feel jittery, never made me feel anxious, but I noticed a pattern that on the off days where I wouldn't drink it, you know that feeling like when people say, oh man, I can't talk to anybody before my morning cup of coffee, like that. That's kind of a problem if you think about it. Like, we say that so casually, but that's a serious caffeine addiction. If you can't even function because your anxiety is so bad without something, you need to examine whether or not it should be playing a role in your life at all. I know that when I quit caffeine a couple of years back, I did go through like at least 2 nights of heart palpitations, lying in bed and just thinking like, what did I eat or drink that could cause this? And I realized, oh wow, I haven't had coffee in a couple of days. So it can definitely do that, and it can even sneak up on you in other ways. When I was a kid, I would have iced tea all the time, and I drink like a fish, whether it be water, beer, or something else. Whatever I drink a lot of. And when I was a kid, I would drink iced tea, probably a gallon a day of it, and didn't realize it was caffeinated at the time. I was a kid. And this could have contributed to my first couple of panic attacks, why my anxiety was so bad. So that caffeine can sneak up on you in different places other than just a cup of coffee. So you do want to take a look at that and maybe even experiment with caffeine alternatives and go a little while without caffeine. Try to, clean yourself out, get detox from it or whatever, and see. You're gonna have a lot more energy without it once you get over that withdrawal hump. So for most people with anxiety, I say steer clear of caffeine unless absolutely necessary, but definitely not on a daily basis. Next, we're gonna have food sensitivities, food sensitivity drinks. This is gonna be things that will vary from person to person. For myself, I've noticed that this is dairy. Now, I didn't grow up with, nor do I even think I have a lactose intolerance. However, I do think I have a dairy sensitivity because anytime I have a glass of milk or something like that, I will notice that I start to feel just a little bit more anxious. I've looked this up online, and it tends to be something that other people experience as well. This is probably due to the fact that the gut is considered the second brain. So anytime our microbiome in our stomach gets kind of out of whack, we're gonna feel it on a mental level as well. So that's something that you're gonna wanna look out for. And it's something that's gonna vary from person to person because maybe for you, it's not dairy, it's something else. For this, I do recommend trying to look at, you can talk to an allergist or something like that. I personally took a test recently called Everlywell. This is not a sponsorship for them, but if you do a little search on YouTube for Everlywell reviews, scroll through and try to find mine. If you go to someone else's, I'm gonna consider that cheating on me. But that was a pretty cool, I did a review of that and I thought it was a pretty cool test for food sensitivities, not allergies, but sensitivities. So things that can make you feel, fatigued or give you headaches and anxiety, stuff like that without necessarily being an allergy. Interesting, worth looking into, and something that could help you. Next up, we have third type of drink that can give you anxiety is going to be drinks that are high in sugar. This is obviously things like juices and sodas. This is because you're going to be giving yourself a blood sugar spike, which just always makes you feel jittery and anxious. I know personally, if I have a ton of sugar, a lot of sugary drinks, I'll just be feeling more of a general sense of anxiety. Not necessarily some event that I'm dreading, some phobia or anything like that, but just a little bit more anxious. You know how you feel that anxiety in your stomach and in your chest? I'll feel more anxious from things like that, and that's just because I'm spiking those blood sugar levels, which is something that you're gonna want to probably avoid. Now, the fourth drink is gonna be what people go for trying to avoid that sugar, and that's aspartame, which is an artificial sweetener found in a lot of drinks that are marketed as sugar-free, or they'll try to say healthier alternative, but if they have aspartame in them, that is a chemical compound that can cause all kinds of. This is a very controversial ingredient, but there are studies linking it to things like anxiety, depression, and other issues, both physical and psychological. So just in general, I would probably avoid drinks like aspartame. That's going to be in your diet sodas and pretty much anything that says sugar-free but is still sweet. It might have aspartame in it. I would go for some other type of sweetener I like stevia, but if I was gonna put it in my coffee, which I don't drink anymore anyway, but even stevia has some controversy around it. So, do your research, but just in general, if you're feeling like heart palpitations or anything weird like that, and you're drinking a ton of diet soda or other sugar-free drinks, then see if aspartame might be one of those things. Try to eliminate it from your diet and see if you feel any better afterward. And then finally, number 5 is going to be alcohol. Now, I know alcohol, we think, oh, this decreases my anxiety, especially social anxiety. This is our drug of choice. We go out to a bar and we feel uncomfortable and socially anxious until we have a few drinks. Look, I'm a drinker myself. I don't blame you. However, the problem with it is that when we drink alcohol, it works by stimulating the GABA neurotransmitters in our brain, the GABA receptors in our brain. And as a result, we feel uninhibited. We feel more relaxed because those inhibitory neurotransmitters are activated and just calms us all down. The problem with this is when we do it too frequently. You know how you develop that alcohol tolerance? That's because your GABA receptors, your brain is decreasing your GABA receptor activity, the GABA receptors in your brain, to try and adjust to this increased amount of GABA neurotransmitter activity happening in there. This is going to cause something called GABA rebound. So when you are not actively drinking, you're going to feel way more anxious. I know personally, and I don't even drink that often. I drink socially going out maybe once a week. But when I do this, I lose like the next 48 hours because the next day I'm just hungover, and then the day after that I'm just feeling generally more anxious because of that GABA rebound. And the more often you drink and the more you drink when you drink, the worse that rebound is going to be, the worse those feelings of anxiety are going to be. There are some ways that we can balance this out a little bit. I like DHM supplements, as well as even what I'm drinking now, just having some passion flower tea, because passion flower is known to help boost GABA back up. So those are really good ways to kind of counteract the effects of alcohol after the fact when we're feeling that GABA withdrawal type symptoms. But that's all I have for you guys. I can't wait to see what you commented below and see if you guys maybe have thought of some things that I didn't. These were the big 5 for me, but I am curious what you guys came up with. As always, if this was helpful for you, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more great anxiety and mental health content. And that's all I got for you today. I'll catch you guys next time.